Hello everyone, welcome to the Drone Wars. I believe this is episode 22. So right in front of us here we can see the board as it currently is. There are 5 factions remaining. I mean, just looking at this map already we can tell the Pirate Empire is currently the largest and most powerful. The Federation used to be the most powerful, but now they're kind of just stretched over a little bit of area there. They've kind of shrunk considerably. The new Galactic Alliance is pretty much the weakest at this point. They probably are going to struggle a bit this episode, but we'll see what happens with them. Delta Shipyards, they lost a lot in the last episode, so I'm actually just wondering what they're going to do. Maybe they might try to make a run for going up towards the Great Red Sun Empire, or they're going to try to fight back against the pirates. I don't quite know what they're going to do. And of course, the Great Red Sun Empire, I think their only chances of escaping right now is to pretty much go down towards Delta Shipyards, and I don't know how that's going to go. So we're just going to go ahead and go through these, and we're going to see what each of these factions does this episode. Alright, so already we've got something interesting here. So, New Galactic Alliance have decided to do two of their actions. One of their actions was, of course, to build a new fleet, so that's going to help them out a little bit. They have 4 fleets currently, most of them being corvettes, so they don't have too much firepower right now. Their second action was actually to just move one of their newer fleets up over there. So they've reclaimed that planet since there's nothing defending that. And of course, the New Galactic Alliance doesn't like that there is a very powerful Federation fleet on their borders, so they've decided that for their third action, they're going to send their fleet that was up there down here to go and try taking on this fleet. And, well, it's a single carrier versus 2 carriers, a battleship, a corp. Yeah, it's a one undefeatable fleet right now, but we're going to see if maybe that carrier can at least weaken the fleet a little bit. And it's happening at Trident Mountains. Of course it is. That planet has so many battles on it. So, we're going to see how that goes. Alright, here we are. We're on Trident, we're basically in the mountains here. And we're going to see how this battle happens. Over here, we have the New Galactic Alliance with their carrier, supported by some fighters. And all the way over here, we have the Federation Armada. That's pretty powerful. They have their 2 carriers, their battleship, their corvette, and a bunch of fighters that are going to help them out. So, yep, let's go ahead and see this battle. I don't know if the Federation... Well, I know that the Alliance probably won't win this battle, but maybe with some luck the Federation might lose a ship, but I don't know. I don't think that'll happen. But there's a lot of firepower here. This carrier's going a bit low, and I think its fighters are actually up top. Yep, we can see all their missiles coming out here. And those railguns are extremely dangerous to those fighters, but they're still trying to do whatever they can. there is a lot of damage being done on all sides here, so we need to be careful. There's a lot of cannon fire coming for that Crusader, so that's going to do a lot of damage to it if it doesn't get out of there or something. So the Duke is just getting behind it to target its engines, which is not great. There's still fighters out here doing a lot of damage to the carrier, and that carrier is trying to lift up to try dodging hits. Not looking good at all for that carrier. That carrier is doing everything it can. It mainly seems to be targeting fighters and stuff over here. Seems like it's going after that battleship. Oh, that's a massive hit from all those railguns. I think the carrier here is starting to sink a little bit. Oh, it's definitely starting to sink. That's not good. Which almost nothing left to the right side of the engine bay there. The entire rear of the carrier is gone at this point. Well, just by looking around here, we can see that the battleship and the carriers are still alright. The Corvette has sustained a lot of damage, but it's still flying, and we still have fighters around the place. They're still flying around in alright conditions. So yeah, the Federation fleet is still perfectly fine after all this. And yeah, some fighters were lost, but those are mainly fighters that were deployed by the carriers, and the carriers can basically just restock the fighters, so... Yeah, we're gonna go back to the board and update it. That's another loss for the Alliance here. And another victory for this fleet. Alright, welcome back to the board. And, well, a few interesting things are going on here. So, first and foremost, we're going to talk about the Alliance and the Federation over here. Now, the Alliance did do a bit of expansion, giving them just a little more wiggle room to kind of just survive. So that's good. The Federation, what they decided to do, they decided to build up a new fleet, and then they decided they're going to switch targets, and they're going to go after the Great Red Sun Empire over here. So they've decided to go up here, taking out a mining world and claiming it as their own, turning that into a fortress world. That's really bad news for the Empire over here. And of course, what they've decided to do as well is to explore that last planet that was not explored, and they've pretty much just they've grabbed that, turned that into another mining world, so that way the Federation has a little more income. So that's going to be very useful for them, especially for making bigger ships to deal with the other factions around the place. So that's the Federation's 3 turns done. So you can see the Federation's doing a little bit better. The Alliance is also doing a little bit better, so those two are alright. And Delta Shipyards, what they've decided to do, they're going to do probably their smartest move right now, and they're going to go up towards the Great Red Sun Empire over here. So they had a fleet here, and instead of going after the Federation with their very powerful fleet, they're going up towards the Great Red Sun Empire all the way up here, and well, they'll be taking on these 2 fleets here. Which they do have an advantage because they're a battleship, but it is on Pertam, so that's going to be pretty difficult. If they manage to successfully take out this world, then that's another blow to the Great Red Sun Empire because of the fact that they're losing even more of their income. So, we're going to go over to Pertam, and we're going to go and set up that battle. Alright, so here we are on Pertam, we're in the dunes, and this area of the planet is actually a little bit high up, so our atmospherics do struggle a little bit. Over here, we have the Great Red Sun Empire. They have a lot of fighters in this fleet, and they do have a bit of a trump card, which is their frigate, which should be able to do a pretty large amount of damage. And over here we have the well, Delta Shipyards fleet. They have their battleship, they have 2 cruisers, and of course they have 3 corvettes, and this cruiser is not on the floor. It just doesn't like the high elevation, but we'll see what happens in this battle here. We're going to go ahead and declare war, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to watch the fight. We're going to see who wins. So almost immediately that cruiser decided to go up. There's a lot of other ships moving in here. That Hawk is probably going to absorb most of the damage up front, but it's going to do whatever it can. All these ships are just charging in, doing whatever they can to those fighters. Which I don't think that the fighters are going to stand much of a chance against all these ships, to be honest. Seems the Hawk there has hit the ground. Lost a bit of its thrust, but it's fine. It can still fly. It's going to try doing whatever it can against this frigate, which is moving in very slowly. a lot of damage has been done to it already, but it's not stopping. Now he's gone into range to start using his lasers. Might do a lot of damage. Seems the frigate there has lost a lot of its upthrust already, so it is sinking a bit. And he's still flight capable. There's two other ships around here trying to do whatever they can. You can see that this broadsword over here has decided to get a little bit closer to ground there, which is not good for it. You can see the battleship is very quickly closing in. The high gravity is not healthy for any of these ships, and they're all trying to do whatever they can. And seeing that battleship moving at very high speeds is really scary. It might actually be going into attack. That's gonna hurt a lot. That frigate's trying to turn around while it's still on the ground. It's taking a lot of damage. there still fighters out here that are alive or no? Surprisingly, there is one that's still trying. Battleship seems to have gotten itself in a weird position here, but it's still trying to do what it can. And there's of course the issue of this fighter over here. I don't think it's going to be coming back to the battle anytime soon. Based on what I can see here, I don't think this frigate has any more weaponry you can use to really defend itself. So we're just gonna go ahead and take a look at which ships survived. Should be pretty easy to check. So we're just gonna spawn them upright, and we're gonna see if they can still fly or not. Okay, so the battleship is still alive. That cruise, well, that corvette up there still seems to be somewhat alive. Let me spawn this over here to see if it's still able to fly. It cannot fly, so that one's fallen. We have lost a corvette there. Another corvette over here. Well, I could spawn this one a little bit higher just to see if it's able to fly or not. He cannot fly, he doesn't have the thrust for it. I'm of course checking this cruiser right here. The map just have wedged itself in a weird spot. Yep, it definitely still alive, so I'll go ahead and update the roster from here, and we're gonna go ahead and return to the board. Alright, we're back, and well, things are a bit interesting here. It appears that the Great Red Sun Empire is shrinking considerably as they're being attacked from multiple sides. You can see that Delta Shipyards has successfully gone up into their home quadrant here. Now, Delta Shipyards is actually changing their focus down here to deal with these pirates. The pirates are really dangerously close to Delta Shipyards territory over here, and you know, they need to do something to really weaken the pirates. So they decided to send one of their fleets that was just hanging out at their shipyard here, and go all the way up to try to take out the large and very powerful fleet that's over here in the alien snowfields. As you can see here, it's a massive battleship battle. Battleships, frigates, fighters versus battleships, cruisers, corvettes, and lots of fighters. This is going to be a wild ride here, but we'll see who wins this battle. So here we are, we're on an alien planet in the tundra, and here are the two fleets that are going to be battling. We have the Pirate Empire's armada here, with 2 battleships, 3 frigates, and a lot of fighters going into support. And on the opposite side over here, we have Delta Shipyards. They have their fleet, battleship, cruiser, corvette, some fighters. We're going to go ahead and declare war and see who wins this. There's already missiles going on both sides, and you can see this battleship over here is immediately going to work to try to shoot down those missiles. You can see your torpedoes are starting to move in. A lot of hits to the battleship there. It's still flying, so all is well. Lots of ships moving in, firing all their torpedoes. You can see over here, there's lots of fighters moving into the battle as well. There's going to be a lot of missiles coming from these fighters. You can already see that we're already starting to get into range. And already there are fighters just fiercely in combat up there. Seems like this battleship down here is targeting the other battleship. It's gonna be a tough battle between those two. All these fighters just rushing in, there are missiles just piling on over here. Yeah, that Corvette didn't even stand a chance. Because this cruiser over here is also falling to the ground, although it might be doing a little bit better. You can see that these frigates are just going after the fighters that are still remaining. Lots of the fighters are quickly being shot down. This battleship is still doing its best to try and fight off everything that's coming in its direction. Surprisingly, there's still fighters out here doing their best. So I can imagine that won't last all too long, because there's just a lot of missiles everywhere. These fighters are doing everything they can to take out the other fighters in the area. This battleship is very quickly starting to sink. It's taking way too much damage. Right over here we can see that the broadsword has survived, and it's doing everything it can to take out all these other ships. Oh, the entire front of the ship seems to have just completely exploded. The battleship has taken way too much damage. More than it was designed to be able to take. Ooh, and the entire front has just been torn off. This cruiser is still doing its best. There goes the entire rear of that frigate. Oh, that's a bit extreme there. I mean, that's one way to bring a cruiser down. He just rammed it into the ground there, and he's still going around, doing as much damage as he can. You can see these two are just completely tearing apart what's left of the battleship out there. And they might be going after the cruiser over here. Seems like the cruiser is not doing particularly well, as it's lost a significant chunk of its front. Yep, there it goes. I mean, we could just look at what's left here. Let's see, we have all 3 frigates appear to be alive. The 2 battleships are definitely alive, and looking at fighters are still alive. As long as there's still at least 5, then they're good. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So the Pirate Empire hasn't really taken that many casualties, if any, at all. So it's just completely annihilated the Delta Shipyards fleet. So we're going to go ahead and return to the board and update it there. That was an interesting battle. Alright, here we are. We're back at the board. So, Delta Shipyards failed to basically attack that pirate fleet. That was pretty much just going to be a menace to them over here. And, well, now it's the Pirate Empire's turn to strike back and do what they'd like to do with their 3 actions. And they've decided, well, for the first action, they're going to go ahead and deal with this fleet that's kind of just entered their territory. They don't like that fleet is occupying their former homeworld, so they're going to take their fleet, move it down, and just take on this massive fleet here. It's another big battle, but this time it's going to be on the moon. So we're going to go ahead and see who wins this battle. Well, here we are. We're on the moon, among these craters here, and well, there are 2 fleets here. We have Delta Shipyards with their massive battleship fleet here. You got 2 battleships, a cruiser, 2 corvettes, and some fighters. And over here, we have the Pirate Empire's fleet, which is going to attack them. Of course, it's the same fleet from before, so we're going to go ahead and declare war, and we're going to see which side comes out on top. Small amounts of friendly fire. There's lots of torpedoes moving on both sides here, so both sides need to be careful. That battleship just absorbed all of them. Small amounts of damage. They're going to move in, firing even more torpedoes and trying to move in. You can always see here there are some corvettes that are not faring too well. These corvettes are probably just moving up front to kind of just absorb most of the damage for the fleet while the rest of the ships kind of just move in here. You can always see there's a lot of missiles being fired by all these fighters. You see these battleships already starting to get up close here, where they can do a lot more damage. Surprising to see a Corvette still in the fight. Lots of torpedoes have been fired here. I guess they're trying to take out some of those frigates. Seems like this cruiser here is taking quite a bit of damage to the point where its hydrogen has stopped working. Maybe a major fuel line is cut, so that's not very good for it at all. Well, it seems that cruiser isn't completely lost. It's still alive. It's going to fire whatever torpedoes it has left. Seems like this battleship is also rapidly going towards the ground here. It's going to do a lot of damage to it. Okay, well. That's a massive explosion over there. See, one of these corvettes is also going down. Not great. There's a lot of damage being done from all kinds of angles here. Up here you can see this battleship is taking on not only another battleship but two frigates simultaneously, trying its best to absorb all the damage. In the meantime, this cruiser needs to do something about the other frigate there, and maybe that battleship down there as well. You can see that this battleship over here has just been absorbing a lot of damage. I think it's trying to deal with all the fighters that are still around the place harassing it. That's a lot of torpedoes. I think they're trying to turn towards this battleship. This battleship is doing everything it can. Surprised that cruiser is still out there trying its best to fight. It's taking a significant amount of damage. And it's taking a lot more damage still. A lot of torpedoes going after the battleship here. That's definitely not healthy. Seems like this broadsword cruiser over here is gonna go down really soon, if not already. There's not much of it left. Yep, that's another ship fallen. That means it's just up to these two battleships up here, which are just going to absorb as much damage as possible, while dishing out whatever damage they can do at this point. Well, an entire chunk of ship was just blasted out from that side there. Well, the entire rear of the ship is actually like completely disconnected. That's a lot of damage. That leaves a perfect opening for all the other ships to just tear into it. Yeah, at this rate, this ship is guaranteed to fall. This other battleship out here is trying to do whatever it can, but the thing is, I think its AI was destroyed somewhat early on from a lucky shot. Just kind of just needs to sit there and just do what it can from a distance. Oh, there's another barrage of torpedoes coming in, I think. Oh, those torpedoes are going after the other one, I think. Yeah, they're all going after the other battleship over here. this battleship is definitely sinking now. Seems like this battleship is going after the other one over there. Another battleship is starting to sink. It's a major blow to the systems. I think as soon as this ship collides with the ground, the Powered Empire is going to win. And that leaves not much left for the for Delta Shipyards, as this is one of their largest fleets. The good news for Delta Shipyards, though, is that they did weaken this the Pirate Empire's fleet. They did get a few kills every here and there. So I'll have to tally up the ships that are still alive. See which ones work. Charger battleship is still alive. Destroyer Vega definitely fell. So that one's gone. Out of the remaining frigates, how many are left alive? 3 frigates are still alive. And how many fighters are left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so more than 5 fighters. So yeah, the Powered Empire basically lost one of their battleships. That's about it. But the Delta Shipyards basically lost their entire fleet here. So we're gonna go ahead and update the board. Well, the battle for this moon isn't done quite yet. While the Pirate Empire did defeat the Delta Shipyard fleet, they still have to take out the Delta Shipyard's fortress, which is a completely different story. And well, since this fleet did lose their largest battleship, that battleship had some fighter carrying capability, so they lost the fighters that also come with that. Which means that, well, the amount of fighters that they have here is only 5, and if they lose any of these fighters, they will not be restocked. That being said, they still have their 3 frigates and their other battleship, and they just have to take out that fortress to take this planet. So we're gonna go ahead and see how they do with this. Immediately a massive hit. Still going strong though. this battleship is going to do what it does best, which is ramming into the enemy at point blank range. Oh, it actually didn't ram. That's interesting. Well, it did collide with the ground there, but it's still doing fine. The other ships are now moving in. Seems like pretty much all the weapons have been disabled on this fortress already. It's just point defenses that are left. Looking at what's left, well, we have the battleship, we still have our 3 frigates, and we still have all the fighters. So yeah, it's a total victory for the Powered Empire here. So now they've retaken what was their homeworld at one point. Alright, so we're back at the board, and well, we're going to go over what the Powered Empire has done after they've retaken that planet and, took over that fortress world. They've decided to use their other actions to basically just move some fleets around. They decided to move their massive supercarrier fleet over a little bit closer towards the enemies, over here. It actually happens to be right there. And then they've decided to move a smaller fleet that was over here, basically to prepare to invade the New Galactic Alliance, or maybe provide a little bit of defense, I'm not quite sure. Now, the Great Red Sun Empire over here, they have realized something. The Federation over here is moving into their territory and really, surrounding them. And Delta Shipyards is also just making a beeline straight for their territories. So, what they've decided to do from here is that they decided to go to more of a defensive mode, where they've just built up some fleets over at their homeworld, moved a fleet over here, and they're basically just trying to stop Delta Shipyards from going further into their territory. Now let's just zoom out and just look at the rest of the board here, just to see how everyone is doing, just on the larger scale. The Great Red I think the Great Red Sun Empire is probably going to die out before the New Galactic Alliance does. Maybe. Because I know, well actually I don't know, both of them are not in a good spot, but it seems like the Alliance is picking up traction a little more, and they are growing again, at least a little bit. The Great Red Sun Empire is actually losing territories, like a lot of them. And they're kind of stuck in a position where they mostly just have, I believe they only have 1 world, maybe 2 worlds to give them income. They have a single shipyard in their home world, and everything else is just fortress worlds at this point. So, they're not in a great position here to really defend too much. I mean, they can do some defense, but I don't know if it's going to do too much, as all the other factions are just kind of wrapping around them. I mean, the Alliance, they have the ability to take over that planet in the top right corner if they really wanted to, but I think they're just ignoring it for the most part right now, as they are more focused on other threats at the moment. Federation is surrounded on all sides, but it seems like they're trying to avoid the pirates right now because they've realized that they cannot fight the pirates at the moment. Also, they're not dealing with the New Galactic Alliance as much anymore because they don't consider the Alliance to be too much of a threat right now. They're focusing more of their energy on the Great Red Sun Empire, so that way they have more of a bit of a buffer on that side over there. Just so that way they have more territory to kind of just, retreat to. Delta Shipyards is basically just going straight up to the Great Red Sun Empire. They did try to fight against the pirates, but the pirates have proven to be way too powerful for them, so they're deciding to go upwards. And it's also worth noting that the Federation is also making moves towards Delta Shipyards, so we might see in a future episode that maybe the Federation might cut off the topmost part of Delta Shipyards. It'd be interesting to see Delta Shipyards be split into two different areas, but I don't really know what's going to happen up there. It really seems like Delta Shipyards is going on a bit of a revenge arc against the Great Western Empire for their transgressions in previous episodes. So that's something that could happen, but right now their territory is becoming skinnier and skinnier as they're being pushed a lot from the right. And of course, the Pirate Empire is in an amazing place right now. They have complete control over those two quadrants in the bottom right. So they're doing really well over there. And they do have a presence in like pretty much almost every spot in the bottom of the map. They have like one planet on the bottom left, they have a planet in the middle, a planet on the middle, two planets in the middle right, and one planet on the middle left. So yeah, they are basically pushing everyone upwards and away from them. I'm actually interested in seeing if they actually do end up using that super carrier in a future battle, but it's going to take a little bit for that carrier to actually get to a battle. In the meantime, I think that's about it for this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed. There is a link in the description to the Discord for Season 2, which will happen after Season 1 ends, and we're bringing in people to come and join in with their own fleets of ships. I think it's a bit of an interesting experiment to see players participate in this. So if you guys want to try playing the Drone Wars, feel free to join that. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.